All of us who love watching action movies know that movies have now gotten self-aware, where they know they are doing things which are silly. Plot becomes very convenient for the protagonist. Things are taken over the top to a point where the line between what's enjoyable and what's unbelievable becomes too thin. Jason Statham's latest The Beekeeper knows no such line and is so self-aware that it tries to up the ante by going against the most powerful adversary you could think of, the president. And if you're thinking that might make up for a very silly movie, well, you might be in for a surprise. This video is going to be mostly non-spoilers. There isn't much to spoil anyway. However, I do wanted to talk about very specific scenes from the movie, which I will be doing at the very end of this video. Don't worry, there will be a warning letting you know when we head into the spoilers territory. The Beekeeper is an action thriller movie that follows Adam Clay's character, played by Jason Statham, who works a quiet, normal life as a beekeeper until one day someone messes with someone he cares for and he goes on a rampage to destroy the entire company and the person sitting at the top. Might sound strikingly similar to an OG action movie we all have been fans of. I might bring up John Wick more as we go into this video, so if you were sitting under a rock this whole time and haven't seen John Wick or even heard of it, I don't even know how you ended up here. I don't even know what to say. I mean, just watch them, I guess. Now if you ask me how I felt about the movie in as less many words as possible, the action is slick, it is good, it's not boring, silly and convenient at times, and few parts reminded me a lot of John Wick. I'm sorry, but I just could not help but draw connections to John Wick. And when I say it's similar to John Wick, it's not in terms of action, but scenarios that the protagonist goes through and few dialogue sequences back and forth that were happening, which I'll be discussing as we head into the spoiler section. And it reminding me of John Wick is not necessarily a bad thing or a good thing for that matter. It's completely subjective. You might be someone who likes a movie that reminds you of something similar and you go, hey, they took inspiration from John Wick. Or you could be someone who goes, hey, they copied everything scene to scene, frame to frame. For me, it has always been situational. Each instance is unique and I treat them individually. If I see something that I've seen before and it makes me feel like there is a subtle tip of the hat to a certain OG movie or a sly callback, I've always liked it. But if it feels completely same but just played by different actors, which don't add any new meaning or their own blend of what they want to share, to a point where the conversations become very predictable and you already know what's gonna happen next, this is when it starts getting hard for me, because it's very difficult to constantly tell myself to not think about the movie I'm trying to remember a scene is inspired from and focus on the movie that I'm currently watching. With The Beekeeper, this was slightly my concern, but thankfully it didn't last long. It's just there for like 5 to 10 minutes and more on that towards the end of this video. What works for me is how tightly packed this movie is. It's just around 1 hour and 45 minutes and it starts right off the bat and gets going from the very beginning and never stops. I mean, it does stop when the movie ends, but you get the point, right? Because of its short runtime, you do forgive things that cross the line of reality as you're just trying to enjoy the movie as a source of entertainment, and as is, that's it. It's just 2 hours of your life you're trying to have fun with, and in that it delivers. It's an action movie and that part it does really well. It's thrilling, exhilarating, and does have the element to keep you engaged in hand-to-hand combat sequences with one-liners that are there for the audiences to cheer on.
You are a problem. Goddamn right, I'm a problem.
Obviously, like I said at the very beginning of this video, with every action movie you will have moments of disbelief in how real or grounded it should be. Now, coming to things that I didn't like as much is the addition of FBI agents in the movie. I know, let me explain. There are FBI agents in the movie, but they don't serve any purpose to the plot or the progression of the movie. I mean, literally, even if you remove them, you wouldn't even know they were there. And this relates to my other issue, which ironically is the runtime. Even though how closely this movie is packed, I still feel there might have been few things that we could have removed. Not because we want to save some time, but because we want to see something that I feel the movie didn't spend a lot of time with. There are a few comedic punches and gags and banter between between two FBI agents, but it could have been a lot better if we just didn't have any of those and spent more time with our protagonist, Adam Clay. He is constantly nagging about how no one took care of him.
She was the only person who ever took care of me.
And I would have loved to see who he is talking about, how his past life looked like, where no one cared, or something to establish his motivations for doing a lot. I mean, he caused all this rampage. Was it just because a person who was, in technical terms, his tenant? I mean, would I buy if someone kills a bunch of people, not just a bunch of people, like powerful peoples, goes against the system just because someone killed their neighbor or tenant? I mean, I don't know. I don't think I would buy that. But hey, like I said, it's just an action movie, and if you're just looking for a 2-hour movie on a Sunday evening, that is fun, but you might not remember it like 2 years down the line. The Beekeeper is a no-brainer. Just watch it. Now, we'll be heading towards the spoiler section. If you've not watched the movie and don't want to know any spoilers, this is the best time to leave. This is the one in that I talked about. I don't know if, this is the warning. So, I really had a fun time watching the movie and generally enjoyed it. I did have some issues with the movie, but you should definitely give it a try. It definitely makes up for a one-time watch. The biggest thing that bugged me and I wanted to discuss with you in this spoiler section is the 10-minute sequence between Wallace and Derek Danforth, who is the son of the President of the United States. And this is right after Adam has a conversation with Derek, letting him know that he's gonna kill him. The conversation that follows between Derek and Wallace in anticipation of what's about to come. Wallace fearing once he hears the word Beekeeper and being scared knowing that Beekeeper is gonna try and kill Derek and there's nothing we can do to stop it. This whole sequence somehow reminded me so much of John Wick Chapter 1 when Vigo is having conversation with his son about who is messing with, that famous scene in John Wick Chapter 1. Right after that, when they go out to hunt Adam, they burn Eloise's house and destroy Adam's beehives, which again reminded me so much of burning John Wick's house and messing with his car. So let me know if you guys felt the same while watching this. Did that thought even creep up in your mind, or was it just me overthinking things? I also could not help but notice how convenient it was for Adam, as he was basically invincible throughout the movie. I mean, when he tries getting to the 9 Points building, while the FBI have placed their own SWAT team around the perimeter, despite that, Adam walks in straight where they've set up the perimeter, and it's super easy for him to defeat a bunch of trained personnels without a fight. I mean, that kind of was the point where it started to cross the line of reality for me. But I guess you just let that slide and take it as a movie and move on. And I believe movies like these also prove time and again why movies like John Wick are a cut above the rest and will remain at the top for quite a while when it comes to action movies. I mean, it's not because John Wick was ultra realistic. I mean, Keanu also survived falling from multiple buildings, but at least he's hurt. He's shown to have fled, shown to bleed, but like everything, this is a never-ending discussion, isn't it, of how action movies should be. Should it be grounded and realistic, or should it be over the top and full superheroic, or a mix of both? I mean, for people like us, we just love watching movies as they come at the end of the day. Let me know if you like the movie Beekeeper and what kind of action movies you're always looking forward to. Thanks a lot for watching the video. See you in the next one. Bye.